The dish I'm cooking today is an easy Sunday roast. I wanted to show this dish today because after a busy week, I don't really want to be spending too much time in the kitchen. And to help me with that, I'm going to show you a one pot wonder. I've got a 1.8 kilo chicken here, and this is going to feed 3 to 4 people. But we'll get into the chicken in just a moment. Again, I don't want to spend too much time preparing vegetables and potatoes and pans and spending time doing a lot of dishes. So it's all going to go into one tray. This is the veg I've got here, the veg I've had in: carrots, parsnips, potatoes, onions, butternut squash and some garlic. Now I want to prepare these in the simplest way possible as well. So the onions I've just cut in half. I'm going to pop them into the tray. Now I just want to trim them slightly because I want them to sit nicely in the tray. I just want to cut simply in half. I'm going to leave them in the skins because that's going to keep them together in the tray while they roast. Carrots I've already peeled, but I just want to keep them, nice and large. I don't want to spend time slicing and dicing and battening. So I just want to cut them in half. And again, from corner to corner, I just want to cut them so they've got nice little pointy tips. I'm just going to whack them into the tray as well. And the way I'm cutting this is because as they roast, we're going to get different degrees of roastiness from the veg. So they'll caramelize on the bottom and get even more caramelized and crispy on the edges. So we'll just prepare all our carrots. Again, they're roughly the same size, and if they weren't, you can just cut them down to size so they cook evenly. Parsnips, same again. It's up to you. If you want to remove this slightly woody part here, we can do. Into the tray. And even though this is an easy Sunday roast, it's a good dinner party dish as well, and gives you more time to spend with guests, friends, family. You're not slaving away too much in the kitchen. Potatoes, I'm just going to pop them in as they are, and some butternut squash. Quite an unusual, wobbly, wonky looking veg, easy enough to prepare. I'm going for the easier option today. I don't need all this. This part, we've got the seeds, I just want this part, the meatier part. Just want to remove this tip here. Again, when you're preparing veg, if you want, put maybe a damp towel under the board. That stops things sliding around, and just hold things firmly on the flat if you can, and just with a really good sharp knife just through like that. I just want to peel. You don't really have to peel the butternut squash. You can leave the skin on, but I don't want questions to be asked at the dinner table. Again, a good sharp knife helps a lot. A blunt knife's more dangerous than a sharp knife. You want the knife to do what you want it to do. Now, same using butternut squash as well. I'm going to just cut it into, again, even sizes. Even though the other root veg that I have, butternut squash holds a lot more water. But it will roast. may not caramelize as good as the carrots and the parsnips and the onions. We tidy up. So into suitable chunks. I don't want to keep the butternut squash too large because I want that moisture to come out of the squash. So we've got a good nice bale of veg there already, and that's going to even act as our trivet. The garlic, you could cut it in half if you wanted. I want all the loose cloves in there. Because this is going to become one of our veg as well. So we just want to remove any sort of loose skin of the garlic. We want it to roast really nicely as well. So open all that up. And I've got nice garlic here. I've got nice big juicy fat cloves. I want this is as important as every other part of our Sunday roast. So we just want to throw them in. Any loose skins just taken off, and that will act as one of our veg. You think OTT on the garlic, but it's not really. What happens with the garlic is when it's roasting, it's going to become sweeter and it's going to caramelize and it's going to mellow right down, and the flavor profile is going to be so much more palatable, and that's why it's going to be one of our veg. So that is our veg all in the tray. That took about 5 minutes, and it's going to act as a trivet. Now that means the chicken's going to sit on there, so I'm going to jiggle some of the veg around once I get the chicken in there, and what's going to happen is the onion's going to open up as it roasts. The juices are going to drop into the onions and flavour everything, and we're going to have a really nice roasted tray of vegetables. So into our tray, some olive oil, rapeseed oil, a good seasoning, salt and pepper. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could add some hard herbs to this, the likes of thyme, rosemary. If you want to use dry herbs, it's up to you. I'm just going to keep it simple today. But what we're going to do is a drizzle of balsamic over all our veg, and that's going to, when it roasts as well, it's going to caramelize and become even more sweeter and sticky. So that's our veg. Just give it a little sugar. So you could really prepare this beforehand as well, save you even more time. So our chicken, what you don't want to do is, you don't want to start rinsing this thing under cold water. If you wanted to give it a wee clean, some damp kitchen towel, and just give it a wee wipe over. It's not really necessary to clean these things. So what we could do is, again, you could get some hard herbs into there, stuff the cavity. It's really up to you. I just want to keep the flavours nice and simple. And for that, I've got our orange left over, which I zested yesterday. So I'm just using those up. I'm going to take the orange, and we just want to shove that into our cavity. Wrong way. It's Sunday, I'm a wee bit too easy-ozy today. But again, that can take me on to another point as well. If you want to stuff the chicken, we could get the stuffing right in there as well. If there was more maybe skin on there, you'd pull the skin of the chicken over and you'd have a nice stuffing as well. You could also as well, and this goes against all the hard fast rules when it comes to roasting chicken, you could actually put a wee bit of stuffing into the cavity itself. I know that that statement is rather bold and goes against what we really know And again, since we're working with raw chicken, lots of hand washing and lots of wiping down as well. So that's about the most exotic flavour that's going to go into the chicken. Again, just a touch of rapeseed oil on there. And we want to season really well with salt and pepper. Plenty of salt on there. And we just want to rub that into the chicken, over the legs. There we have it. Now, there's probably recipes out there that say use some butter on it, brush some butter, that'll give you a nice golden colour as well. To push some butter under the skin, just on top of the breast meat, there's no need. This is going to be into the oven and pretty much it. We're not going to open the oven door because all that does is going to drop the temperature down, which takes longer to cook. And for all the time, this is going to take about an hour and 30 minutes in the oven. So nestle that in there, and I just want to tweak the veg a little bit so the onions are sort of half under the chicken, so we get all that lovely juices in there as well. We don't want to cram too much in there because all that's going to do is it's going to start stewing the veg rather than caramelizing. So we want all the veg to be pretty much sitting or thereabouts on the bottom of the tray to get it going. And it's going to capture all the juices. The only time I may open this oven door is to just squash the potatoes just slightly with a fork, just to break the skins, so we get more of the balsamic flavour in there, more of the chicken flavour. So the oven's at 240. As soon as this goes in, I'm going to drop it down to 200, and that's going to take an hour and 30 minutes. So now the chicken has had the hour and a half in the oven. We can see it's literally out of the oven right now, and we can see all the goodness in the tray. We've got our chicken, which is a lovely love skin to it. I haven't opened the oven. The oven has not been touched in the hour and a half, and it's literally looked after itself. We can see our veg. The onion has, so we can get a closer look at the onion. It's almost opened up like a little flower. And we've got all this goodness in there as well from the chicken juices, the balsamic vinegar. Our veg, we talked about the points. Look how the points of the parsnips and the carrots have become so crispy in some edges, caramelized underneath. The potatoes have got a nice good roast skin on them. Our garlic, if we just pick one clove up here, and if we can just squeeze that, it's full of lovely goodness, and it's mellowed out. The flavour of the garlic's not harsh anymore, it's a lot sweeter, so it becomes almost like part of the veg, part of the sauce. Now, I'm not going to bother making gravy. What I'm excited about to see here is we've got 2 days worth of dishes. Once we've dismantled the chicken for today, we'll have the carcass left over, and I will leave no stone unturned or no part of the chicken unturned to get every morsel of meat off this chicken, even turning it upside down, getting every bit of meat out of it. And then maybe tomorrow I can make a chicken and rice soup, which will be a delicious meal. Or I can roast the carcass even a bit further and turn it into some gravy. Because I know we've got some gravy in the freezer, because it's a shame to waste any chicken carcass. And even my wife, she's like, whenever she sees me with that chicken carcass, she's like, oh, what's he going to do now? So I want to make soup or stock or gravy, because the gravy is there, and what I do is I freeze it in foil trays, so it's good to go for another time. And sometimes it's just nice to have a roast chicken, and I've got the confidence in this chicken that it is moist, the juices are still in it, and I'll prove that to you. So what I'll do is, when it comes out of the oven, the other thing is very important that we rest this chicken. It's going to make it so much easier for carving or portioning up. And to be honest, I'd rather portion the chicken up. Take the legs, take the drums, portion it up onto the plate, remove the breast hole, and just cut it into maybe 3 pieces. So they're nice chunks rather than thin slices. So I'm going to remove the chicken just now. Again, we want an internal temperature of above 75 on the chicken. If you're unsure of the cooking you want to give, for every 450 grams, you want to give 20 minutes, then plus an extra 20 minutes on top of that. So you want to get a knife or a probe, even better, into the thickest part of the chicken, which is the thigh. Get that temperature, use the knife, back of the hand, you know, just make sure it's thoroughly cooked. Again, I think I said this before about juices running clear. I think it's doing that method as well, I think unclear, because they're not technically clear. So either knife in there, back of the hand, and if you retaliate, then you know it's done. Or even better, invest in a digital probe. So I'm going to remove this, and if I just, you can see that, you can see the juices flowing from it. So we know it's lovely and juicy. So we can let that rest. I don't want to cover it in tin foil or anything, because I don't want that skin that we've just got lovely and crisp to become saggy and soggy. Just rest it there on the plate 20 minutes and carve as you like. And there we have our lovely veggies in there, and you can literally put that in the middle of the table for everyone to help themselves. Veg, use whatever you wanted. Any good root veg. I'm surprised I don't even have a turnip in the cupboard. I think turnip or swede is so underrated, and it's the ideal veg to go in this. And if I just tilt the trays as well, you can see in the edges, I hope you can see it, you can see all the caramelized bits around the edges. And if you wanted to, we could even remove some of this lovely sweet balsamic chickeny glaze, and that becomes one of our sauces as well. Nice and easy, stress-free, Sunday roast. Give it a whirl and enjoy.